Hello and welcome to my woodroom. My name's Raul and today I've decided to hit record and show you my collection of plants. I have a few goals for today. One, I would like to record where my plants are as of right now, June 10th, 2020. One of my favorite aspects of living with plants is seeing how they progress over time. But when you're living with them, it's very easy to miss just how far they've come. Two, I would like to, while I have the plants in front of me, do a little bit of maintenance. Check in on them, see how they're doing, and maybe decide on whether any of them can live outside for the summer. And lastly, I would like to count and see how many plants I have in the house, because I'm genuinely not sure what the number is. My guess is probably around 30, but there's one way to find out. Let's do it. All right, first up, we have this lime tree that my father brought up for me from Southern California. And so this one is looking really good. It did good over the winter. Had to bring it indoors and it's been happy. I've been fertilizing it. I do notice that when it's indoors, it gets these like little spider mites on it. But right now I could probably take this outside, hose it off, and it'll be fine. And I do believe this one's going to live on my front porch. So that is one. All right, plant number two is actually a plant that I propagated from my large snake plant, which you'll see in a bit, but it is doing really good. This one doesn't look like it needs much maintenance. I just have a damp cloth. I'm gonna wipe it down, just get kind of some of the dust off. That way it could absorb as much light as possible. It's like cleaning solar panels. Just like that. And this one's gonna continue to live inside. It's very happy indoors. And I'm super excited to see how this one goes over the next couple years. All right, this one I'm actually really excited about. This one was a rescue plant. This is just like some clippings from a friend of mine's plant that I helped nurture back to health. And this is a string of pearls, and it's been doing incredibly well in a very short amount of time. I've had this maybe 2 months, and just from clippings, they're extremely full now, and I just love the way it cascades around. And when I do the close-up, you'll see just how happy this plant is. It has a little volunteer right here, a couple of volunteers, so I'm just going to pull those out. And that's pretty much all the maintenance that I'm going to need to do on this one. This one's looking really good. Let's see, I'll just do that now. It's kind of tangled in. Just like that. And there's another little piece. I'll put this in the compost and we're good to go. All right, this is another little happy guy. This is a little cactus that I have in the front window, and this one's grown tremendously since I started. Since it's smaller, I'm just gonna show you like this, but I absolutely love this one. Just love the color. It's one of the first things people see when they are walking into my house. All right, plant number 5. This is a fern, also smaller, so I decided I could just show you like this. But I love this pot that it's in. Makes me very happy. Excellent. All right, so I have so many of this plant. This one's a really fun plant just to keep around the house, liven it up. It's super easy to take care of, and it's really easy to propagate, so I'm always propagating these and putting them in fun little pots. This one's a little fish. And then gifting them to people. It's a great gift, and I literally always have these on hand. So another good one to have around the house, and I apologize for repeats, but there's going to be a lot of these. And this is plant number 6. All right, with plant number 7, I am beginning to realize that I have a lot more plants than I thought I did. So I'm going to go a little bit faster. This plant's looking really healthy. This was a gift, and I have to put it under the black light, or not the black light, the grow light every once in a while, just to make it happy. But I just switch it from the window to a grow light every once in a while, and it seems to be doing just fine. And this is definitely an indoor plant. All right, number 8, 9, 10, and 11 I'm going to do at the same time because I got these together at the same time in LA, and they're one of my favorite success stories. So this is a type of aloe, and I bought it at a person selling succulents, and this guy was literally like the size of my pinky, and it was just like a little fan. And now it's probably been about 3 years, and it is just doing super good. I got that along with, they told me this is called like a window pane or something like that. And this was just like the size of one of these little clusters, and now it has filled this bowl. I like this one a lot. Then another one I got at the same time. This one is a bear paw, I believe, and it's also doing really good. It shows some stretching. It's in a window with a lot of light, so I don't know why it's stretching, but it seems to be happy and healthy. This one has some volunteers, just some grass. And just got that. And then lastly, I really like this one. And this one blossomed about 2 months ago. Probably less than 2 months ago. Sometime last month. But this one was also extremely tiny. And now it's doing just extremely well. And then it has a couple, I don't know if those are volunteers, or sometimes I put extra little leaves that fall off other plants, and I just put them in any pot that's nearby just to give them some soil. And those seem to be starting to take off and do well. And I think that's it for those. On to the next ones. All right, a couple more gifts from my dad. A couple palms from his property in California. They seem to be doing good indoors. This one's a little bit bigger, but I like them. These might be able to live on the patio for the summer. All right, 14, 15, and 16. These are all little succulents, and they seem to be doing good. Little selenite crystal right there. Okay. This one is like an aloe, and it has a little succulent right there, propagating with a crystal and a copper wire. And this one's really fun. This one I believe was like a wedding centerpiece, and it was tiny. It was like in a tiny little mason jar, but it has just grown tremendously. This one I always tell my girlfriend that it reminds me of like it has the Miyazaki magic. I don't know if you're familiar with Miyazaki's films, but in all of his films, every little nook and cranny is filled, and there's like little things growing everywhere. And anywhere you look, there's always something new to see. And this plant represents that for me. Always makes me happy. All right, I'm gonna count this as, oops. All right, there are 3 plants on this piece of Lake Tahoe driftwood, but I'm gonna count it at just one. Like, I'm gonna count the driftwood as a pot. So I have 3 air plants on here, along with a little heart-shaped rock that a neighbor of mine gave me. She's a sweet old lady, and I absolutely love her. And so, yeah, these are just 3 air plants, and I just wanted to, the maintenance that this needs is the same maintenance I do pretty much every day. I have a little misto, and just with water, and just give that a little mist every day. And they seem to like that. And then about once a month, I'll soak them. But they're pretty low maintenance, and they do decently well. I'm excited to have a greenhouse. I'm building a greenhouse, and I hope that they do really good and I could expand my air plant collection when I have a greenhouse. But till then, they live on this piece of driftwood. All right, so this was another rescue that I absolutely love. This, my old employer got this as a gift, and then they threw it away. And I pulled it out of the trash can, and they kind of got upset at me because they said, why pull it out of the trash? And I was like, well, it's a lovely plant, and I have a perfectly good home for it. And it's lived with me for the past 3 years, and it seems to be doing absolutely amazing. And every once in a while it'll shoot out these red flowers. I think I have a piece that I propagated off of this one that has some flowers, and I'll try to show you that in a bit. All right, plant 19 is going to be a little combo pot. It has some succulents, it has some propagated succulents in there, and then it has that plant I was just showing you with the little flowers. And it only does that about once a year. At least for me. I know very little about plants. I just like to have them. All right, plant number 20. This one's very special to me. This one was an adoption. When my girlfriend's grandmother passed away, this was one of the plants in her home. And we decided to bring it home with us and take care of it. And as we've seen it grow, and right now it's actually blossoming. I'll have to pull the camera off to show you. But right now that it's blossoming, it does feel like, you know, a muchie is looking down on us and smiling. So this plant, like I said, very special to us, and it means a lot to us. I don't know how much more to say about it, but I love this plant. All right, number 20 is another gift from my dad. He likes to give me plants. This one is, we call it a guayaba. In English, it's a guava. And this one seems to be doing good. I have to bring it indoors every winter. I may put this on the patio. This is another example of a plant that can live outdoors during the summer, and then bring it back indoors in the winter. But this one's a pretty delicate one, so this one's gonna have to go in a more shady area. My patio gets some pretty harsh sun during the sunset. So that's something I have to consider, and I have to really watch it. And then when I transfer plants like this that are more sensitive and that have been conditioned to being inside, you have to be very careful and keep an eye on them. That way they don't get sunburned on their first, like while they're getting acclimated to being outdoors again. All right, 22 isn't the prettiest vessel, but the plant is pretty. It started off as just me propagating another one of these. That's getting tangled on the table. But I usually hide the little milk jug with a little picture, so it's all right. All right, 23 is probably my heaviest plant. It's this glass hanging vase full of dirt and full of water. This plant absolutely loves water. It's a very finicky plant, but I love it. It's as long as you keep it watered, it just keeps putting out plants, and it does these big, big leaves, and it sends out these flowers all year, literally all year. Middle of winter, it has these beautiful flowers. Makes kind of a mess in the house, but it's worth it. And if you keep trimming them, like I said, it just keeps putting them out. Trim that off, it'll put it out. And with this one, I have a lot of branches propagating just because it does so well. So this is from that same plant, and even when it's propagating, you'll get flowers. And then I have another one of these plants propagating in this, so that's going to be, I'll count this as 23 and 24. All right, plant 25. This one I had hanging in my front room for a long time, but I recently switched it to this wood room, and it seems to be doing a lot better. So I don't know if it was getting too much sun or too little, but some of the leaves got burned in the front room. But ever since I brought it into the wood room, it's putting out these really dark, healthy leaves with like absolutely no burning. And if you look closely, it's starting to flower. I absolutely love seeing that. And this one, it's kind of hard to see. It's really pretty and bright red with like a yellow little like stem. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's really pretty. All right, 26. More of this plant. And then if you see this green here, that's just some chives I threw in there. I cut them off when I cook sometimes. But pretty basic. 26. All right, 27, 28, 29, and 30 are all the same. More of these plants. Another ugly mason jar where I propagated some, and then it just started living in that. I have this nice happy orange pot that I do like and I showcase. And then I have a terracotta pot here, and then this hanging gold pot. The less visually pleasing ones, I just hide behind the nicer pots. All right, 31 and 32. 31, a little potted succulent with some plants trying to be propagated there. And then this one is kind of like my alarm clock for my plants. This one always like gets droopy whenever it's time to water them. It's always a good indicator of when I need to water my plants. And all the plants seem to agree. So this is my alarm clock. All right, so this is a plant that I've had since I moved to Reno about 7 years ago, and this plant has done good in sometimes and bad in sometimes. There was a time that I gifted it to my younger brother so he could take care of it, and that was a mistake, but I've been nursing it back to health since, and I'm very happy with its performance. It's doing well, and I'm gonna find a nice sunny window spot for it. All right, 34, 35, and 36. 34, little pot of succulents that seem to be doing pretty darn good. I have a couple crystals in there, help them grow. I have just a little orange pot of more chives that I use for cooking, and then another clear glass with more plants that I am propagating. Most of these, once they start shooting out roots, you could put them in a decorative container, but I just haven't got to it yet. Next project. All right, 37 is by far the heaviest plant I have. It's in this nice orange pot full of dirt. It's aloe. It was a gift from my aunt and uncle in Southern California. And this one was quite a project. On the drive from Southern California to Reno, this was in the back of my truck. It was much smaller at the point, and it froze. So I lost all the growth that it had at that point. But I still put it in a nice pot and then try to nurse it back to health. And I'm glad that I stuck with it, because today it is one of my favorite plants, and it's one of my healthiest plants. And to add to that, coming from Southern California, this is a sun-loving plant. So I'm probably going to put this on my porch and let it soak in as much sun as it wants, and see how happy it gets before next winter. I might not be able to carry it in. All right, 38 and 39. 2 more succulents. These are in my mudroom. These don't get as much attention, and there's not as many windows. So you can see that they're stretching a lot, but I have a few, another type of string of pearls right there. But these are recent additions. This one's not doing too good yet, but we'll see if I can nurse it back to health. And then this is another succulent. It's doing all right. Not the healthiest. The plants don't seem to like the mudroom too much. I guess there's not enough light for them. All right, 40 and 41. I absolutely love these plants. These were also a gift to me by a gentleman that came into a restaurant I was working at the time. And he said they're extremely low maintenance and they need very little water. That's why he likes them. And they send off all these little babies that he likes to gift to people. And so it started with initially just these 3, and they've been shooting off babies. There's looks like 4 babies in there, and then these are some of the babies that it sent off. And I always like to propagate them and keep them, and then pot them in nice pots and gift them. All right, 42, a snake plant in a nice little pot. I really like this one, and this is another one that is great for gifting. It's constantly shooting off babies. There's 2 brand new shoots right there, and then I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. There's a little baby one right there, but I love this. I started off with a plant smaller than this when I moved to Reno, and it's just exploded since, and you're gonna see the one I'm talking about. It was my first plant. Pretty sure that was my official first plant in Reno, and you'll see how far it's come. All right, so I forgot a few plants that I have under the grow lights in the basement. So this would be 43, 44, 45, 46, if you're counting it like this. Some of these are just propagating. So this is more of that plant that I have so many around the house, but this is, so I'll start propagating them like this, and then when they start, shooting out leaves, I'll gift them. These are some remnants of the string of pearls. These are some of the pearls that fell off during that process, and I actually don't know if they're gonna start stringing out, but I thought it'd be worth a try. But I'm gonna count this as 1. This is a very finicky plant that my girlfriend bought, and it's very challenging. So this one lives pretty much all the time under the grow light, and it's been doing better since I did that. Now, this is a rescue that my girlfriend brought home recently. It was almost completely dead, and from the research that we did online, it's a very challenging plant to keep alive, and we're getting it back to a semblance of health, But to me, it doesn't look very healthy. But I think that's just the way this plant looks, because everything I've seen online, the leaves are very crispy, very paper-like. But it's growing, and even like the baby leaves, the new growth is crispy, which is very strange to me. But maybe that's just the way this plant lives. So, a couple of the plants that I forgot. All right, and last but definitely not least, this is that snake plant that I told you was most likely my first plant here in Reno. And like I said, it's shooting off like 5 new plants. And this is like a perfect gifting plant. And if you take care of it, I mean, look at the growth. This is an extremely healthy and happy plant. And I just love what it adds to a space. Well, I think that. So I thought 47 was the final number, but I missed 2 little glasses that I have, propagating some more succulents. So 47, 48, 49 is the final number. Now I know. Now you know. Hopefully you were entertained a bit. You got to see my plants. Peace.